Hello everybody. So we are still working on this animation here, and our topic today, we are still considering perfection in thought and mind, and in practice, and whatever shape that takes. We're just kind of speaking generally still, because it's an idea that is like monks try to practice, people try to practice in their daily lives. Obviously people are good at, disciplining their bodies, and even I am not so good at disciplining my body. And I know that disciplining my body with daily exercise would come from making the daily decision to perfect myself, to perfect my body. So that perfection in decision making is kind of what I'm going to be shooting for. And that perfection in decision making comes from perfection in thought and mind. So I don't know, I'm kind of going around in circles, but I'm going to get drawing, because I remember I got to focus on both. And I haven't worked for like a few days, so getting back into things, I have to remember my flow as an animator. So we're coming from here, and we're going to start the attack. So he's moving his whole body forward and kind of planting his knee and getting his hands in that wind-up position, which is going to look like, going back to the wind-up from the standing attack, looks like this. So I'm going to take a look at his hands here. Yeah, it's just kind of letting the thumbs go up and letting the fingers really relax and sort of making a V shape toward his, I don't know, his crotch or his center. Okay. So let's move that down. Ooh, I forgot to start my timer. I don't mind if I start my timer now, because even it's not too far in the video, but we got to start that. We got to start our 25-minute time block starting now. Okay. So, okay, I can already see that the sketch has been pretty much made, but I'm going to refine this sketch a bit more before I go into, oh, you know what? Let's stay in the same layer. I'm going to refine this sketch a bit more before I go into the line layer here, because there's some ambiguities in the arms and hands. Okay. Make sure I know where all the muscles are before I put in the clothes. Okay. Make sure we have this small, what do you call it? Face in the Hunter x Hunter style. I think the ear is too far back here. Actually, the head might be too far forward, or the neck is just misplaced, because the neck needs to come forward, more forward into the chin. And his shoulders up there. Okay, I think I'm ready for the lines now. Let's give it a shot. So we're going to bring the opacity down on this one. And I wonder how many frames I'm going to be able to do in this 25 minutes. I want to make sure my brush is the right size. So I do want to share, actually, one of my New Year's resolutions. Well, my New Year's resolution is something I still have not succeeded at yet. I know I have a whole year, but it's something I was actually trying to shoot for every day. So I have a daily to-do list, and I wanted to just complete it every day. That's it. And I have it on a list, and I've made a couple refinements to it, but basically I just had a to-do list that I wanted to do every day. That's all I wanted to do. But I've put the to-do list since the beginning of the year. I put it in my spreadsheet where I log the date of if I've completed the task, and then it's not just a daily to-do list now, but I have also weekly, monthly, periodic to-do lists, or paying bills on time, certain chores in the house that don't need to be done every day, but maybe weekly, maybe every 5 days, maybe every 14 days. But I'm keeping a log of all that. And the daily list alone is very difficult to complete. It's not difficult in the sense that, you know, I don't really leave room for error. Like, but for some reason, for many reasons, I'm sure, I have not been able to complete the to-do list even a single day. And it's that, for me, that's sad. For me, that's like, okay, I set out to do this, and why, looking at the list, it's not even that difficult. Am I usually only able to do like 40 to 60% of the list? And what I'm trying to do for myself is like just increase in discipline. I think the I should be lower. No, not lower. Okay, the sketch pretty much has it in the right place. I think maybe the expression I need to work on. Yeah. Kilua's expression will not have quite as strong a concern. He will be pretty much relaxed. So there, that's a bit better in the shape. These eyes are still a little bit too cute. So I was talking about my daily to-do list. Now this is on my to-do list. I need to do some kind of paid work every day. So for me, it's going to be this project. I have paid leave since I had my son. So when I go back to work, that's usually what checks off my work day. But nowadays, it's either like doing this or uploading some videos to YouTube. It's very small pay, but well, this particular project is not small pay, but the YouTube is small pay. But it's still something. Otherwise, if I don't have, work at my day job, I find something to do, substitute teacher job, which there's availability every day during the school year. Or I, just get in my car and do some Uber. And if I get, at least one ride in, that'll help me check it off. So some kind of work every day. Ideally I would want more hours to work in the days, but, with my kids, I have to remember that work is a means to an end. For a lot of people, work is the end. Like, for their work is the most important thing in their lives, and in some ways I used to think that that's kind of the life that I wanted, but I know for sure now, like, work is a means to an end for me. Work is the way to serve my family. So go back home and use the money and feed them and stuff. Simple life. And I don't know, it's funny, like, when you grow up, the simple life is kind of delineated to you. It's like, go to school, maybe get your degree, find work, get good at your work, make that money, and use the money for things that you want to do. But the thing is, young people, and I think this is a good thing, that young people, I say young people as if I'm not still pretty young. I'm 34, turning 35 pretty soon, and it's like, what is that? I'm not quite middle-aged, but I don't know how long I'm gonna live. My family history says my prospects are not great unless I start eating really healthy and start reducing stress. I've had quite a number of relatives that have died in their 50s, so it's like, not that it's looking grim for me just because of that, but it's definitely a warning sign. It's like, okay, take care of yourself and take care of your family. Your family feeds back to you. And it's not that I really have a desire to live long. But I do have a desire to get a lot of work done. That's the main thing. It's not about living long for me. It's about making sure that the work has been done so that at least my sons are taken care of, that my wife has a good amount of resources to help them too. And for me, the means to an end, the end of the means is my family. That's my life. And I don't know, people, it's like adults have been trying to tell you this for so long. The meaning of life is family. The meaning of life is more life. But as I was saying, young people, they want to figure it out on their own. And they should. They should have that freedom, because if you just tell them and they obey, blessed are they, I guess. It's like that's good. And maybe I should have been that way too. Maybe it's a good thing when young people are able to trust authority and obedience and trust people who have been through it. Little kids are not able to sort of predict long-term consequences. They don't see that. They don't feel it. They feel what they feel in the moment, and unless they're really thinking like, okay, what's going to happen if this happens and this happens and this happens, and where's that going to lead? Where's that going to lead in the distant future? Where's that going to lead a week from now? If a kid can do that, that's really great. And I think for my sons, one thing I've always wanted to teach my kids when I had them is like, actions have consequences. I mean, that's certainly something I'm living through too. That actions have consequences. And not just immediate consequences, but consequences in the long term. That those consequences have consequences, and things kind of go in a snowball effect, or a butterfly effect. And that can sound scary, but it applies to good decisions too. It applies that if you make a good decision, one thing I used to talk about is like eating a salad. There's so many like good things that can happen from eating a single salad. I've talked about this in previous videos, so I'm not gonna demonstrate it again. This elbows, something about like the lines here feel very organic. It's like following in his arm muscles, but this one, it looks a little bit straight. So I'm gonna actually keep that in mind, keep the spirit of the animation in mind, and we're gonna follow like his deltoid and then his tricep. Yeah, I think that looks much better. Get his elbow here, and then we'll follow this muscle here. I forgot what that one's called. Make him look a little more muscular. Like here, it's a loose shirt, but we're still gonna follow the bicep a little bit. Okay, so now, remembering that he has a small torso, let's let the shirt fold in a little bit there. And that fold is not right. Fold in right here. And ultimately, learning is a very good thing. But for a young person to develop that respect, that okay, there are things I've thought about, there are things I'm thinking about that people have been thinking about maybe for hundreds or even thousands of years already. So if I want to look for the answers, someone can teach me this. Now, I, as a young person, was very bad at this. I wanted to be able to learn everything and derive everything myself. Even stupidly not realizing that these things that I'm reading are things that other people wrote, so they've thought about it already. And anything I do to quote unquote research, these things are not just on Wikipedia just because they're there, like people put them there. People did the research. All the philosophical and life questions people have thought about already. So things like, what is the meaning of life? Like the big questions like that, people have been thinking about for thousands and thousands of years. And that means that people, thousands of years ago, they're not dumber than us. Like evolution of the brain does not happen that quickly. Like, and I read, as I'm reading like St. Augustine, a beautiful mind, really. He didn't have modern medicine, modern science, but philosophy was able to answer a lot of these metaphysical questions that people still ask today. And a lot of them, a lot of questions that people ask themselves have kind of been solved. Like some of the, or maybe not solved, but like just really thoroughly thought about. Like one that comes to mind is the problem of evil. I don't want to get too into the problem of evil right now because that's not my topic at hand, but It's something that people have thought about, and there are ways to sort of answer it, at least for oneself. There's no definitive quote unquote answer to it, right? Because it's always going to be hard to deal with. It's the most kind of the one of the most emotionally charged questions, and one that really honestly can make or break people's faith. Like, why do bad things happen to good people, right? Why do bad things happen at all? Why would a good God allow bad things to happen? So that's a big question, and the Catholic Church has their answer, and I'm sure each religion has some answer to that. And I subscribe to the Catholic teaching, and this is something I'm learning. Like, as I read these old books, the Rule of Saint Basil, the Life of Anthony, I want to read the Catechism of the Catholic Church. And again, I'm not a scholar by trade. I'm not a teacher. I could be, and maybe if I was a teacher, that would kind of enable me to really sit down and read so I can teach better. But I am a layman. I'm a worker, and I'm not meant to be like a genius here. I'm not, at least right now, called to be a great apologist, a great theologian. I'm called to be a husband and a father right now. But I will enrich my philosophical life as much as I can, but only as much as necessary. I'm not called to know every single thing. I used to think like knowledge for the sake of knowledge was just a good in and of itself and the thing to pursue. And so I would, spend a lot of time just thinking and writing and reading and learning things that are honestly no use to me right now. Like, of course, like, who wouldn't want to know the deep secrets of the universe and computation and the standard model of quantum physics? And it's like, those things were interesting to me. Like, what were the names of the dinosaurs? Where did they live? But our brains are limited, and we ought to kind of be choosy of what it is we take in. And children, maybe not all children, but I, as a young person, wanted to be a maximalist all the time. I wanted to maximize whatever it is that I was doing, and I was a maximalist as far as like absorbing knowledge. Now I'm gonna remove the onion skin and the sketch here just to kind of see how this is going, because this looks okay to me, but it's not quite perfect. Yeah, I think the elbow's too low. I think the face got a little bit too small too. Like, in comparison to this one, yeah, his face kind of shrinks. So I keep talking about the small Hunter face, but I think it should actually come like here. I'm gonna erase it. It should come like, here's the eye line, so we can bring the hair down a little bit, and then the face, the nose will come out a little further there. I spent a lot of time in these videos just trying to get his Killua's face right. Hunter drawings are weird. When it comes to like copying styles, it's really kind of an annoying thing that just has to be done in the animation industry, because one single artist can't do everything alone, unless you're a mangaka. And if you're a mangaka, your style is your style. You draw however you want, and that's just how you draw. And for other people to try to copy it, it takes time, because it's just not how they naturally draw. I don't naturally draw like Togashi from Hunter x Hunter. As you can see, I'm getting the eye wrong so many times. It feels like it's in the right spot. But I think it actually should be lower again. Ear here. Eyeline that way. And let's compare it now. So now the face looks like the right size, but the head can be bigger again. So let's bring this up. And then those little strands for Killua's front part of the head. So there are a lot of books I want to read. One of them amazing book that my friend showed me called The Divine Intimacy, where it's like daily reflections, for, I don't know if it's per year, per certain time period, but the reflections are so richly written. And it's like, yeah, I want to read that, but I don't have time, and I'm not meant to read it all. I'm not meant to read every single book. I want to read The Divine Comedy by Dante Alighieri, mostly because I named my son Dante and I want to know what it's all about. Because my first son's name is Augustine Dante, and it's like, I'm reading Augustine, okay, so I want to read Dante as well, some of the greatest early Christian writers. We named him that, because we knew they were nice Catholic names, but we named him that for other reasons, not related to our faith. But we're leaning into the Catholic name, so it's like I might as well lean into it and read what those guys wrote. And so I have their books, but it's like, I just got to read them when I have time. It's just an interest, and I may never get around to reading them. And it's like, what if I'm just not meant to? What if I just want to? And there are things we want to do that we're not meant to do. And I'm finding not only are we limited in scope as far as our knowledge base goes, but we're limited as far as our life goes and time. So if I know my purpose, which is to love and serve my family as a husband and father, like, what better purpose can there be if I have a wife and children? What would success look like except me on my deathbed and then I have a healthy family? As much as I've unintentionally worked against them in the past with my many mistakes, that's what success would look like. So that may not mean reading the Divine Comedy, and we'll just not play it by ear, but really try to listen to the will of God each day. Okay, this looks good. I think this face looks better than earlier. The angle, I have to remember his eyebrow expression's always got to be not too concerned. Serious, but not super concerned. I think we can bring his nose up a little bit. Pointed upwards. I liked how it was earlier. Yeah, I think that's okay. Just trying to get his forehead angle right. Yeah, I think we can bring the nose up. I just wish that we had the selection tool. There. I think this is pretty good. I'm gonna remove the sketch. It's pretty good. There's something wrong, I think, maybe with this angle of the leg. Could be a little bit higher here with the pants. Middle finger here can extend a little bit. I wanna capture that. Line there, fine. Bring the collar up a little bit. Okay, I think this is fine. I wish it's, the selection tool, the head is really far forward, and I want to kind of pull the neck forward a little bit so that it's more reasonable, which means I kind of have to pull everything so that it kind of works with the anatomy. So I got to make these adjustments here. Yeah, I think that head and neck position is much better, but because of that, sort of everything needs to get adjusted. And I'm going to do it not according to the sketch now, but just according to the lines that I've made. So we're going to pull this armpit forward, which pulls the elbow forward. So again, we're destroying work that we made earlier, which it always sucks to do that because you think your work is good, but it can always be better. And the trial and error part of the path to perfection is just irreplaceable, and we got to go through it. We got to put in the reps, because practice makes perfect. I've talked about perfection in previous videos. and we're pursuing it. The perfection of following the 10 commandments, the no rules, don't do this, don't do that in life. Don't throw garbage on the floor, simple rules. And then we have the yes rules. So don't, like, I would say a simple rule would be like brush your teeth twice a day. But it's like, then how good can you get at brushing your teeth, right? So there's the basic rules and principles, but then it's like, can you master them? Those are the two levels. One business guy said survival first, then winning. So it's like, get your finances in order so that you have like an emergency fund, and you can get your basic groceries and clothes and stuff, and you won't be homeless. But then once you have that, win, be great at it. So these are the things I have in mind. Shoulder here. I'm just gonna try to get it in one shot here. There. I think that position is much better. Now we'll do what we said earlier. Have the shirt kind of track the muscles. Elbow there. I noticed my strokes, like in this drawing here, they're so smooth, and I was just so used to drawing in Krita and on my other tablet. But now, since we're in Procreate now, I just got to make sure. Oh yeah, I remember I'm supposed to scoot back in my chair. It's already almost end of my video though, but I need to make sure I have room to move my arm. That's a principle that I kind of missed out on today. So again, practice makes perfect. Next video, I want to make sure I got some wiggle room for my arm. I think this is looking pretty good. There's just some things here. No, that's not right. Okay, we'll stop the timer there. I think we made some decent progress on this one. A little bit slow, but we got some progress. So I'll stop there for the morning, and we'll keep going with this one. Hopefully I can get a fresh look next time. It's interesting that being out of the groove for a few days, not having worked yesterday or the day before on this, kind of slowed me down quite a bit on the drawing. And it's something, I don't know if I'll have the chance to do every day, but we'll try. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. God bless. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.